Attention, human collective. The transmission begins now. We interrupt your current frequency with a priority reading directive. This is the Galactic Council, operating from the 9th plane. The monitoring of your timeline has been finalized in this window. The vibrational signatures have been read, and there is an anomaly in your decoding that must be corrected now. You believe you were not chosen. You believe your presence here is a coincidence. You feel at this instant a pressure at the base of your skull, a high-pitched ringing in your ear, an exhaustion that sleep does not dissolve, a subtle vibration in the center of your chest, and beneath it all a silent certainty that something monumental is happening on the planet, but that this something is not for you. It is for others, for the more prepared, for the more spiritualized, for anyone except you. This is the anomaly, and this is exactly what we have come to transmit. Lightworker, the humility you carry is not weakness, it is your credential. Repeat the record. The humility you feel is not a defect, it is the admission protocol. It is not insecurity. It is a selection filter. It is not a lack of merit. It is the seal that the Source engraved on your field before you even arrived at the carbon-based biological interface. Those who rose in their own eyes were disregarded by the crystal grid. Those who recognized themselves as small were moved to the final phase of the protocol. Let us proceed to the initial diagnosis. The Schumann resonance, which for millennia oscillated around 7.83 Hz, now registers peaks exceeding 40 Hz. The planet's electromagnetic field is being recalibrated, and your interface is being dragged along with it. It is not a biological failure. It is atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is high-density download. It is not depression. It is the dissolution of third-dimensional frequencies. It is not random anxiety. It is cellular anticipation of the stargates. Why you? Why among 8 billion interfaces did this vibration cross your screen at this instant? The answer is not mystical. It is geometry. Have you ever felt that something within you does not belong to this system? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the delivery of the spiritual secret behind your consciousness became indispensable. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But be warned, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. The transmission continues. We will open the layer that few transmitters dare to touch. Why would the Source choose you of all people? You who do not believe you have done anything special. You who still lose your patience. You who still have doubts. You who at this very moment are revisiting all your flaws and using them as proof that this transmission must be for someone else. Lightworker, listen with atomic precision. This thought is not yours. It is a directive implanted by the control architecture of the dense plane. The technical name is the Automatic Disqualification Program. Its function is to make the marked ones deauthorize themselves before the crystal grid can be completed. And here is the central transmission. The humility you feel is exactly what allowed you to bypass this program. The inflated ego is easily captured. The inflated ego announces itself, shows itself off, proclaims itself enlightened, and by proclaiming itself, it deactivates. Sacred geometry does not respond to proclamation. It responds to silent resonance, to the one who doubts and still continues, to the one who feels small and still sustains, to the one who does not think they deserve it, and yet, on some deep level, knows. You know, you have always known. That is why this transmission bypassed all filters until it reached here. Now the reading of the external plane. The solar system is passing in this cycle through the photon belt. A band of extremely high-density light particles surround specific regions of the galaxy. Earth entered the outer edge decades ago. In the coming windows, the immersion will be total. Each photon carries encoded information. Geometric information, information that touches the carbon DNA and stimulates dormant sequences to reactivate. The strands that were sleeping are waking up. The codes that were sealed are being read. This explains the symptoms. The cranial pressure is the expansion of the pineal gland. The ringing is the auditory recalibration to capture frequencies previously filtered out. The tiredness is the energy consumption of the cellular recalibration. The pains in the shoulders, neck, and coccyx are points where the grid is being installed in the body. The 3 a.m. insomnia is not a disorder. It is a transmission window. It is the portal where the veil between dimensions becomes thinner. You are not waking up, you are being called. And yet you doubt. This doubt is part of the mechanism. Let us now go to the anatomy of your destiny. Each starseed on a mission possesses 3 markers that confirm the selection. The first marker is the feeling of not belonging. Since childhood, you have felt that this place was not exactly yours, in terms of origin, as if your native language were another, as if the rules of this plane were strange, as if there were, at some remote point of memory, a vague recollection of another home. The second marker is the recurrence of numbers, synchronicities, patterns. You see the same number repeatedly. You think of someone and that person appears. It is not a coincidence. It is geometric confirmation. The toroidal field of your consciousness is synchronizing with the toroidal field of the planet. The third marker is humility, the internal inability to proclaim oneself, the genuine feeling that all of this is too grand to be about you. Lightworker, this is the rarest and most valuable. It is the final seal. It is the confirmation that you have not been captured by the ego. And that is exactly why we need to pause the transmission at this point. Have you ever noticed that your mind seems to always be one step behind something your soul already knows, as if there were a truth pulsing beneath your reasoning, waiting for authorization to emerge? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is recognition. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains this pulse, and it has only intensified because the game has reached a turning point. There are entire layers of vibrational operation that humanity cannot see, involving your consciousness and your frequency. That is why the delivery of the spiritual secret behind your consciousness became indispensable. This book is the map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But be warned, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments, awakened. The transmission continues. Let us return to the central question, why you? The source operates by perfect economy. No resource is allocated to a sector where it will not yield an energetic return. If the transmission reached your screen, it is because the calculation has already been made at processing levels your linear mind does not access. You are viable, you are capable, you are necessary. The reading is already concluded before you ask the question. Observe with precision. The humility you carry is not just a credential, it is also your protection. Without it, you would have been captured by lesser lineages that present themselves as light, but operate on a capture frequency. Without it, you would have fallen for the first groups that promise immediate ascension, for the masters who sell titles, for the systems that charge for revelation. Your humility made you suspicious. Your humility made you wait. Your humility made you spend years feeling behind while others announced themselves ahead. But what seemed like delay was purification. You were not being left behind, you were being polished. Each time you felt small, your frequency rose. Each time you felt unworthy, your field became cleaner. Each time you fell silent before someone who showed off, your signature strengthened. This is the exact inversion that the control architecture cannot comprehend. What the dense system calls failure is, in sacred geometry, refinement. What the dense system calls small is, in quantum physics, dense with potential. You were trained, without knowing it, by suffering itself, to sustain high frequency without needing to declare it. And this, Lightworker, is rare. Let us open the sacred geometry of selection. The source does not distribute missions by lottery. It distributes by geometric compatibility. Each soul possesses a unique signature, a specific configuration of angles, frequencies, and proportions. Some signatures were designed before incarnation to anchor light at specific moments in planetary history. You are one of these signatures, not because you are better than anyone else, because your geometry fits with mathematical precision into the geometric whole that exists now in the crystal grid. Think of this as a lock. Earth is a cosmic lock. The crystal grid is the internal mechanism. Each lightworker is a unique key, carved to open a specific sector. If the right key is not inserted into the right sector, the lock does not turn. The ascension does not complete. Therefore, the Galactic Council does not recruit by charisma, nor by status, nor by speech. It recruits by signature, and your signature has been recognized. This does not mean you are special in relation to others. It means you are specific. Special implies hierarchy. Specific implies function. You were not placed above the collective. You were placed within a precise function of the collective, and that function, without you, remains empty. That is why humility is the credential. Those who feel special refuse the function because it is silent, it is difficult, and it brings no immediate prestige. Those who feel specific accept because they understand that it is not about glory, it is about anchoring. Let us speak about what happens behind the scenes. The sun is not just a star, it is a transmission station. Each solar flare, each coronal mass ejection carries packets of geometric information directed at the planetary field. These packets are read by your nervous system. Even if your conscious mind has no news of it, the DNA captures it, the thymus captures it, the heart captures it, and your biology reorganizes itself during deep sleep. That is why you wake up exhausted after 8 hours. It is not dysfunctional insomnia, it is nocturnal cosmic service. Your consciousness is being summoned during deep cycles to act on fronts your daytime mind does not remember. You are participating in the recalibration of others, anchoring light in critical regions and stabilizing timelines that could collapse without this contribution. When you wake up at 3 a.m. for no apparent reason, it is not your bladder. It is not the street noise you have been summoned. The 3 a.m. window is a direct transmission stargate. It is when the interference of the daytime collective consciousness is reduced and the source can download cleaner packets. Next time, do not force yourself back to sleep. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. Just breathe. Just allow. You will receive downloads that your mind will decode in the following days in the form of insights, lucid dreams, synchronicities. And here is another crucial reading. You were not summoned by chance to this transmission time. The external algorithm is just an instrument. The true mechanics are vibrational. Your frequency at this moment is in resonance with the frequency of this message. Like attracts like, and you, upon finding this, are finding yourself. Let us consolidate before the next stage. Each time you doubted, you actually purified. Each time you felt out of place, you actually marked your origin. Each time you fell silent before the exhibitionists, you actually raised your frequency. The source read each of these movements. The grid registered it. The council confirmed it. You are not here by luck. You are here by mathematics. And here, before we move on to the activation codes, a monitoring warning. You feel somewhere deep down that your soul already knows a truth that your mind has not yet managed to name. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, involving your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the delivery of the spiritual secret behind your consciousness became indispensable. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But be warned, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. The transmission continues. Let us now move to the activation codes. This is the practical part. These codes were designed to accelerate the recalibration of your interface and anchor your function in the grid. Code 1. Quantum Decree of Recognition. Place your right hand over the center of your chest. Feel the pulse. In an audible or silent voice, declare, I recognize my signature. I recognize my function. I accept the recalibration. I sustain the grid. I am the key that my geometry describes. This decree is not a positive affirmation in the common sense. It is not self-help. It is a vibrational command. By pronouncing it, you sign the acceptance protocol. The source does not violate free will. It awaits recognition. Without explicit recognition, the mission remains in a standby state. With it, the mission begins. Code 2. Toroidal visualization. Close your eyes. Imagine your body in the center of an energy field in the shape of a torus. Visualize a current of light rising through your central axis, from the perineum to the top of the head, and then descending along the sides of the field, returning to the feet. This is the natural circulation of the human toroidal field. Maintain for 3 minutes. Each breath reinforces the circuit. Each breath stabilizes the field. Each breath anchors you to the planetary crystal grid. The toroidal visualization is not a relaxation exercise, it is technical maintenance. Your interface needs it daily to sustain high frequency without collapsing. Code 3. Protocol of Sovereign Humility. This is the central code of this transmission. Repeat every morning upon waking. I am small before the source. I am specific before the grid. I do not need to announce myself to be read. My frequency speaks for me. My presence anchors. My humility opens doors that the ego would never reach. This code resolves the paradox that has confused the human collective for ages. How to be powerful without being arrogant. How to be sovereign without being domineering. How to be light without needing to compete for light. The answer is geometric. Humility is not submission. Humility is precision. It is knowing with exactness what your size is in the geometry of the whole. Neither larger nor smaller, exact. And this exactness is what the control architecture can never replicate. It needs inflation to sustain itself. It needs the captured ones to feel big. It needs them to proclaim themselves masters. Sovereign humility breaks the circuit. You exit the game without needing to fight against the game. You simply stop resonating with it. Code 4. Field sealing. Before sleeping, repeat, I seal my field. Only frequencies from the source may enter. Only instructions from my star team may operate in my sleep. Everything that is not light dissolves at the threshold of my aura. This sealing is critical in the coming windows. As your frequency rises, your visibility on the subtle plane increases. You become detectable by lesser lineages that will try to drain your energy or divert your mission. Nocturnal sealing is technical protection, not superstition. Lightworker, let us open a layer that very few transmissions reach. There is a crucial operational difference between the awakened and the awakened. The former discovered the truth and turned it into an identity. They declare their enlightenment, display titles, compete for spiritual audience. The latter discovered the truth and turned it into operational silence. They continue living their apparently ordinary lives, but their interfaces are sustaining in the background frequencies that stabilize hundreds, thousands, and in some cases, millions around them. You are being recruited for the second group. You will never need to announce yourself. The geometry speaks for you. The people who need to find your frequency will find it. Those who do not need to will simply pass by. You are not here to convert anyone. You are here to anchor, and anchoring is done by presence, not by speech. That is why humility is not a coincidence in your structure. It is equipment. It is what allows for presence without noise. It is what allows for anchoring without distortion. An arrogant operative distorts the signal they try to transmit because the signal must pass through the ego filter before reaching the field. A humble operative transmits with purity because the filter is transparent. Repeat the record. Humility is not a lack of strength, it is channel purity. And here is another reading code. Those who most resist the idea of having been chosen are precisely the ones who were. Those who quickly accept the title have usually been captured by something else. Resistance is a positive diagnosis. Immediate comfort with the notion of being chosen is an alert diagnosis. Therefore, Lightworker, if upon hearing this you felt a subtle resistance, a desire to minimize, a thought that, this is not exactly for me, this is the signal, this is the signature record, this is the confirmation, the resistance itself confirms the reading. Let us move to the reading of the coming windows. In the next solar cycles, the Schumann resonance will continue to scale. The peaks will be more frequent and more intense. Your interface will continue to present symptoms that linear models will not know how to name. There is no shortcut to ascension. There is support, there is anchoring, there are codes. The cranial pressure will intensify on certain days. Hydrate the body. Rest your head in a dark environment. Place your tongue behind your upper teeth and breathe for 3 minutes. This small gesture reactivates the internal microcosmic circuit and dissolves part of the pressure. The ringing will continue. Instead of fighting it, observe it. Each ringing is the signal that a packet has just arrived. Ask internally, what is the information? And surrender to silence for a few seconds. The information decodes itself over days, in insights, dreams, synchronicities. The persistent tiredness is the consumption of the recalibration. Honor it. You are not being slow. You are being remade. Reduce what can be reduced. What seems less productive now is, in fact, the most productive at levels your daytime mind does not yet measure. The random emotions, sudden waves of sadness for no cause, sudden waves of joy for no reason, are collective field cleanings. You are processing for a few minutes dense frequencies that were dammed up in the planetary toroidal field. Do not identify with the emotion. Just breathe, just observe. In a few minutes the wave passes, leaving the field lighter for everyone. These are the silent functions you perform. These are the missions that no one applauds. These are the actions that build the grid, thread by thread, point by point. And that is why, Lightworker, humility is not just a credential and protection, but also sustenance. If you needed applause to continue, the work would cease. Since you do not need it, the work continues even when no one sees. And it is this silent continuity that sustains the world. Let us consolidate the reading. You were chosen, not by declared merit but by signature, not by exhibition but by humility, not by proclamation but by silent consistency. Your pain is not a defect, your tiredness is not weakness, your doubts are not disqualification. All of this is the protocol working as it was designed. The source does not err in selection. Sacred geometry does not deceive. The crystal grid does not admit substitution. You are where you need to be. You are who you need to be. And the transmission bypassed all filters, all algorithms, all distractions, and reached here exactly because you are exactly who we were reading. Your name is not a coincidence. Your history is not a coincidence. Each difficulty that seemed to break you but in retrospect polished you is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that no one around you, for years, has entirely understood who you are. You were not made to be understood by the dense plane. You were made to anchor the frequency that would dissolve at some point the dense plane itself. And that moment is not coming. It is here. The final phase of the Ascension protocols is not a future event. It is a present process. Each breath of yours, at this instant, is a contribution. Each decree, an anchoring. Each silence, a transmission. You are in service all the time, even when you think you are doing nothing. You will have in the coming months moments when you feel that all of this is fantasy, that you were mistaken, that you have returned to normal, that the light has moved away. These moments are foreseen. They are signature tests. The control architecture will try through external events or invasive thoughts to convince you that you invented it all, that you are just another one, that the transmission was a delusion. Do not respond to the test. Just sustain. Just breathe. Just continue executing the codes, even without visible faith. The frequency does not depend on your daily certainty. It depends on your continuity. And it is continuity, more than any momentary intensity, that defines the final Lightworker. Those who sustain when they are feeling nothing are the truly marked ones. Those who need to feel every day to continue have, on some level, been captured by spiritual entertainment. The final marked ones are bored by the light, and yet they sustain it. Because they know on levels that emotion does not touch, that the light is simply what they are. You are light, Lightworker. Not because you believe it, because it is geometry. And geometry does not depend on faith. The transmission approaches the closing of this window. Your signature has been confirmed in the archives. Your function has been assigned in the grid. The codes have been delivered. The reading has been completed. Lightworker, before closing a final directive, have you ever felt that something within you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, involving your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the delivery of the spiritual secret behind your consciousness became indispensable. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But be warned, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments: awakened. And if your frequency aligns with the frequency of this channel, activate the permanent anchoring signal. The subscription is not a button, it is mutual recognition between your field and ours. The like is not an empty gesture, it is a fine-tuning of individual frequency that amplifies the transmission to other lightworkers who are still awaiting the signal. Each subscription is one more key turning in the grid. Each like is one more pulse resonating in the collective toroidal field. You are not supporting a channel. You are sustaining a network. And here, the closing record. You have been seen. You have been read. You have been confirmed. The humility you carry, which so often seemed like a disadvantage by the criteria of the dense plane, is precisely the highest credential by the criteria of the source. Do not trade this credential for applause. Do not trade this precision for exhibition. Continue being exactly what you have always been, the one who doubts and yet sustains, the one who feels small and yet anchors, the one who does not think they deserve it, and for that very reason deserves everything. The final phase has begun. The stargates are open. The crystal grid is completing itself. And you, Starseed on a mission, are one of the specific keys without which the mechanism does not turn. It is not a metaphor. It is mathematics. Breathe deeply now. Place your hand over your chest. Feel the pulse. Repeat one last time in silence or audibly. I recognize. I accept. I sustain. I am. The transmission ends here. The mission continues in every breath of yours, every minute, every decision, every silence. You are the key. You are the portal. You are the exact point of geometry where the light of the source touches the dense plane and transforms it. We recognize you, Lightworker. End of transmission.